What is up, Need for Speed Racers? It is I, Alex Cornnut, your wheelman, and we're here today with the viewer-requested Porsche Carrera 911S, or 911 Carrera S, whatever order you want to put it in. It's the 1997 model. This car has not gotten a lot of love, but for me, it's one of my kind of personal favorites, not because it drives especially good, but because it was one of the first Porsches that I got in the game. And early on, when we were just pub stomping and we didn't have times and we didn't have a crew and we were just out here having fun, I was like undefeated in it. And so I like the car a lot. It's a throwback to that first couple of weeks when I was playing the game. It looks just beautiful, and I love that. Viewer requested means you guys asked for it. So let me pull up my notes here. It looks like Helt Desmal is the one that put the original comment on this one, and he's been commenting this one a couple different times, but it won the other day, and I'm a little behind. I'm about 3 videos behind on the build, so I've got this one coming out, and then we've got the Corvette Z06 and the 600 LT coming for you guys. So I've got those lined up. I had to check my notes there for you. So that being said, taking care of you guys today on this one. Drop a comment down below on what you guys want to see next. Whatever comment gets the most likes will be the next build that I bring to you guys, unless I just absolutely hate it. But so far, I've delivered on everything you guys have asked for. And when there's a tie or it's really close, I try to do both. So I'm here for you, building what you want to see. This is a decent car to go unlock the Porsche RSR. The RSR is mega meta. It is B, A+. You gotta have it in those 3 classes if you want to set times. It's just the deal. So that takes some wins in a Porsche in A+ class. I've got it right here for you. So let me bring you the build. I'm going to walk you through a lot of different things with this because I bought all the engines, bought all the parts, built them all out to A+ class, and there's just a lot of different variances here. So I'm going to try to explain to you my methodology with that and why I chose what I chose, so that way you can kind of see where I'm coming from. Let's dig into it. For the engine, now there's 8 engines to choose from, and all but one will do A+ class. So there's tons there, you guys. We are using the 7th engine for the build. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it is the 3.0 liter flat 6, 444 brake horsepower when we start. Now, the reason I chose that engine is because if you use the same 5-speed transmission, it gives us a top speed of 169. It'll do about 172 with redline tech. For A+, that's pretty good. That's not walking everybody down, but it's also not getting walked on by other cars. So overall, like, slots right where you need to be, you'll be competitive. These other engines have more power, but you'll see 159 for your top speed, 160, 158. Now that one's got 181. You're like, okay, cool, that's like 12 mile an hour faster, but we're losing horsepower, we're losing torque. I tried the 2.6 liter i6. It just wasn't hitting for me. It didn't feel fast. And so that top end, even though you've got a higher top speed, it takes so long to get there that you don't really utilize it. And so this other engine's kind of the best of both worlds. You'll see that the rest are 161, 160. This is the only one that does 169. Nice. So that being the case, that's why I went with this one for you guys. It slots into the class the best. It's the best all-arounder. There are other engines here that have way more horsepower. Like right now, we're rocking 512, 516 with this engine, the flat 6. You can go over here, that one right there, the V8, that's 553, 517. That's an improvement all the way across the board. 554, 519, an improvement. Like, do you see where I'm going with this? Like, you can improve the stats. All of these other motors are actually pushing more horsepower or torque or both, but you're getting wrecked on the top speed side of things, and they do a hard like 159, 160. Like, it does not want a redline tech above that. And so I felt that, yes, it's faster in the corners. On a short track, you might want to build one of those other engines out. But in the grand scheme of, hey, I'm bringing you a car to go play all the playlists to unlock your RSR, you really want to have that 169, 170-ish. I think it's going to be the most competitive for you. That way, when you run Buena Vista, you're not losing in the last straightaway. If you end up in a speed list with this car, you're going to do okay. I mean, 150, 160 is not enough, you guys. Not an A+. So that's the decision I made. That's why I'm bringing you this build. It's competent. It is not a bad car at all. And you'll see that in the gameplay footage for sure. But there was a lot of deviance here from what everything was. And they're all right there, guys. They're all 269, 270. So you're like a handling slider point away. But at the end of the day, I tested all of them, and I decided that the flat 6 felt good enough to make work, and the top speed, you actually get there, you're actually going to hit it, and that was worth it for sure. All of that now covered. Let's go into the parts. For the parts, you are doing Silver Pro induction, Silver Pro ECU, Silver Pro fuel system, Silver Pro exhaust, and then Elite Platinum screw supercharger. I was thinking about doing maybe the turbo or the twins, but the turbo just gave us 1 mile an hour on the top end, and it didn't redline tech all that much higher, and we were really losing a lot of torque, and that torque really helps the car get out of the corners. So it then became between the roots or the screw, and the roots gets us a 268, and all you can really do is just bring down your downforce to make it work for 269. There was no way to put any more performance into the car with that extra point. So just go with the screw. That's the best supercharger configuration you can get, and that's going to help everybody out. So that's what I went with. Sport Bronze nitrous, Elite Platinum road suspension, Silver Pro brakes, and Elite Platinum grip tires, Silver Pro clutch, and Sport Bronze 5-speed transmission. I did try a slew of the builds with that 6-speed. It brings up your top speed a ton, but you've got to take power out of it to make it all fit in the class. And when you take power out of this car, it just doesn't want to get up to its top speed. Like 6th gear becomes totally useless. So really, guys, if you're running A+, 5-speed's where it's at. Elite Platinum differential, so we can use our slider to its maximum. And auxiliary is nitrous drift, nitrous grip. For the handling, slide that slider all the way to the left, 80% grip, close to Beyonce on that one. Steering sensitivity, I'm 2 clicks high. Downforce, I run it all the way high. There's really not a lot of other places you can go that I was happy with it, but you can do anything in there. Like that whole slider range right there is 269. But with the supercharger and it being a Porsche, the engine's in the back, I don't think the game really calculates that, but it will come around on you. The car is a little slidey, a little rowdy in some cases. So, for that reason, I ran as high downforce as we could to try to keep it as planted as possible. You guys, if you want to try it at a lower downforce, go for it. But this car is kind of rowdy, so give it as much as you can to keep it gripped up. Traction control off, drift entry, I run brake tap. A lot of the other guys are running gas tap. And they're faster than me. I should probably learn to do gas tap. I'm just not as consistent with it. So go with what you're most consistent with, because that's going to help you get better times. Overall, Porsche 911 Carrera S, I love it. I think it's a beautiful car. Beautiful car. It looks so good. It's one of my favorites for sure. But, you know, it's no RSR. But it's alright. It gets it done. Guys, stay tuned for the gameplay footage. I've got a handful of races for you. Me and Siwuw make the exact same turn at the exact same time, and we do a tandem suicide into a pillar, so it's pretty cool. Outside of that, it just shows the car getting rowdy, and it's actually not bad. I will probably keep this one in the garage just to go pub stomp, because it's competitive. It is not meta, but it is competitive. While you're down there liking what comment on what build you want to see next, go ahead and like the video, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That helps me out. It puts my videos in front of other people. The more subscribers I get, the more the YouTube master algorithm goes, oh, well, a lot of people like this guy, we'll put it in front of other people that have never seen him. And that helps me grow. We're growing a lot, and I'm really thankful for that. Come over, hang out in the Discord. We've got a really active Need for Speed Discord. We're picking up new people every day. We race all the time. We've got public builds for drift, grip, off-road. We've got a liveries, we've got a clips and pics section where we just post all kinds of different Need for Speed stuff, whether it be fast times or goofy stuff or glitches, you name it. And overall, our community is solid. We have the best guys around for Need for Speed. There is no other thriving Need for Speed community that I know of. There's other bigger Discords, but nobody as active as us. Not for Need for Speed. So come and check us out. It costs you nothing to come and be a part of the Cornnut crew. Just show up and hang out. That's all it takes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. First race in the lineup is Made You Look. This is one of the newer tracks. It's a lot of fun. I've got LordJCS and Siwuw with me. They were available this morning when I was shooting some gameplay footage, and so I like to include anybody that wants to be a part of that with me. It's a lot of fun if we're all running the same car, so it kind of puts us all on equal footing, and then we join pub lobbies and run it against people in the pub. So True Jelly is the only guy that we don't know. So you'll see that we're launching in third gear, carrying it as much as we can, getting it up into fourth, and just using our resources to the maximize of our abilities. Lord's right behind us, Siwuw's right behind him. So with this car, it's not bad until you get into a corner and start boosting and using nitrous, and then it'll get a little rowdy on you, a little unpredictable. So it's going to take a little getting used to, you guys, but overall for A+, it doesn't do too bad. I got my 3-bar, gonna cap it around this turn, go too sharp, death, and Siwuw, death. We both hit that same spot at right about the same time, so it's funny, our muscle memory is almost identical, and we crashed into the same exact thing. I love that. Absolutely beautiful tandem suicide. So now Lord's way ahead of us. We gotta go catch up to him. We're gonna start doing the best we can to just get back up to speed and then carry that speed. I try to cut through the gas station there, and it does give us a vehicle repair, but I was already full NOS, so it was kind of a pointless thing to do, but oh well, it doesn't matter. So we're doing little micro drifts here, trying to get that yellow bar up so that way we can go into this corner with a nice 3-bar, cap it around the corner, try to stay on the concrete, but go a little wide, have to readjust, lose some speed. Now Lord, he had trouble in that corner, so he's just right there in front of us, about 100 yards out. We're going to try to reel him in. His build is different. He's using one of the other engines that only does about 160, 159, 160. So you'll see that we're really gaining on him quite a lot because we're able to go a little faster than him. The wide line through there to cut the pillar is really safe. He went and stayed on the road, got involved with traffic. So because we have a little better top speed and because we took a better line, we were able to pull out the W and go with it. So that right there, Siwuw is really a good driver. So is Lord, so is myself. And that showed me and Siwuw both just dying to the same obstacle because our muscle memory put us into that. So if you guys are learning the car, just be ready to have it get a little rowdy on you. This is Skyline Sprint. This is one of the sprint races. This is one of the ones where this car will be lacking if somebody shows up in a Rosa, but we got lucky. True Jelly didn't have one. And so we're going to launch in third, get it up to the speed. I wanted to show you kind of the red line tech of this car. For those of you guys that don't know, rev tech is when you get the needle, or the RPM needle, as close to red line without it bouncing. So you'll see right there it bounces. Every time it bounces, it's going to reset your top speed to the lowest part of the bounce. So if you can hold it there, we're right around 7,500 RPM. That's great. When it bounces, it drops it all the way down to 7. So it kind of resets that top speed down to the lowest part of the bounce. So it essentially resets your gearing or your overall top speed down to right around 169, 168-ish. But with redline tech, just holding it and stopping it from bouncing, you can see that we're getting like 172 right there. So in this car, that's not that big of a deal. In other cars, like the Fox body, that's worth 15 mile an hour. So the goal here, you guys, is to not just pin the throttle and have it sit there and bounce off the rev limiter. The goal is to get the car up to its top speed and then ease out of the throttle to hold the needle at the sweet spot, kind of like a perfect start. You know, to get that perfect start, you got to hold the needle right in that perfect zone to get a good launch. It's the same thing, only you're at the very, very top of the RPMs, and you want to get it as close to red line without bouncing. And so that's what we call redline tech. That's a really good example of it. I need to touch on it a little more. I think I need to make a dedicated video for you guys. But for those of you that stay tuned for the gameplay footage, I want to try to educate you. So reward you a little bit for staying tuned. Outside of that, we're just sitting here bouncing, doing about 170. With good redline tech, this will do about 171, 172. And right there, Siwuw's behind us. He just capped a 3-bar. We are side by side going into the final straight, and we'll take the dub. Car does fine. It's not a slow car. But if somebody shows up in an A+ Rosa that does 213, you're going to be waving goodbye as they pass you going 50 mile an hour faster. But overall, it's a good little car. I like it. Wild thing, this is also one of the new tracks. Lord didn't make it into this playlist. He was still building the car at the time. So it's me, Siwuw, and another random fella. But at the end of the day, I just want to show you what the car can do. This was one of the earlier runs in this car for me, so I was kind of still adapting to it. We launch in third gear, get that sweet spot. carry it through. It launches good and hard. It's definitely not bad on the uptake, but it just is a little slower in the top end for things. I would place this car probably maybe the upper 60-70% of cars. It's definitely not middle of the road. It's above average, but it's definitely not meta. So we're using our boost, getting up to speed. Gonna do a nice micro drift through there, or try anyway. Big grip turn. Gonna use our 3-bar to cap a good hard left right there. Straighten out. Stay on the concrete there, not dipping into the off-road as much as we can. Gets a little loose on us there, not too bad. Doing a micro drift here to try to get out. 3 bars would have been nice. I'll take the 2 though, use it right away. Cutting a straight line through here. So Siwuw is right behind us. Him and I are going hand in hand. He's in the 488 GTB. You'll see that it gets a little spicy up here between him and I. That 488's got a low top speed. When it's built out to A+ class, it's got a lot of power, but it just doesn't really go. So I'm trying to cut a little tighter line through here. Gonna maximize in this corner, gonna get a little bit of a micro drift, and then cap our boost. I had no idea that he was gonna come through there, so we got a little bit of a murder on our boy Siwuw. But that's okay. That's racing. Coming down the hill, we've got a good lead now. We've got 3 corners left, and then the race is over. So that's racing. Our line kind of just took us right into Siwuw, and his poor 488 GTB. You know, he might have needed to put some off-road tires on it. Maybe that would have been the saving grace. Made it a little faster for him. Who knows? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm thankful for you. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.